How you doing, guys? Law here. Got another update for you, and it's not a good one. Bent a rod. Yeah, fucking bent a rod. You're probably wondering what happened. The engine hydro-locked. Yeah, you heard it, hydro-locked. There was water in the intercooler. Took it a quarter mile up the road, had a little puff of white smoke, and I thought, this isn't right. Turned around, came back. Just before I got to the house, heard the most horrible knock. I mean, it was bad. Switched it straight off. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? Pulled the car into the drive, popped all the plugs, all looked okay, no dramas, didn't see anything obvious. So I popped the intake pipe off to the inlet manifold, and there was a residue of water. I was like, this isn't right. So I took the inlet manifold off, and lo and behold, it was full of water. It's probably about a cup full of water in the inlet manifold. Port 4 was full, all the way up to the port. It was absolutely full. The only thing I could think it could possibly be is condensation in intercooler. The air inside the intercooler was warmer, it got colder on the outside and caused condensation. Over a long period of time may have built up. God knows, I don't know. But yeah, here's the parts. The rod is royally bent, so that is pretty toast. Make a good paperweight anyway. The crank needed a micro polish because there was so much water in the oil. It was ridiculous. I can't believe how much water got in there in that short period of time. All I can think is when it's obviously trying to compress water, which can't really in an engine, it's just pushed it out anywhere it can. So head gasket, in between the piston rings. The head needed to be faced very slightly, just because it's a lot of force. It is a substantial amount of force to do that. I'm surprised it didn't blast out the block, if I'm honest with you. Box seems to be okay-ish. I'm not sure if you can see here. Let's get a torch. Yeah, that is where the rod hit the bore. And that was the cause of the horrible knock. So obviously each stroke, it was clipping, I think it was, yeah, it would have been this side. So it was just touching there and has caused that groove. Also, due to the fact the rod was at a different angle, it absolutely smashed the baffles in the dry sump. As you can imagine, the dry sump, there isn't much depth, it is literally there. So it clipped them. They're okay, they're recoverable, they are fine, but it has touched them. So, going to get the block checked. It may just need this liner to be replaced. Yeah, it's a bit of a bugger really. That leaves me a rod down. A little bit annoying because I had the little ends rebushed, but hey ho, could have been a lot worse. Could have been a hole in the block. Number 4 piston took a bit of damage as well. You can see the gouge marks because they hang out the bottom of the bores, so it clipped on that bit. And also hit the crank. Piston lost, but you can see where it's just kissed it and just taken a little bit out of the piston. So I'll be honest, that piston probably won't go again, or I don't trust it anyway. On another note, massive shout out to Joe at Dynatronics. He's sending me another Moller forge rod to replace the bent one, and he's also sending me some pistons as well, so I can use them rather than these ones, because yeah, I've just lost trust in them, if I'm honest with you. Crank, as I've said, seems to be absolutely fine, just needed a polish, but otherwise we're all golden. So yeah, this is the culprit. I had microfibers rammed in the top, there's just tissue at the moment, but so a bit of an odd one. I haven't had a chance to pressure test it, so possibly as a hole, but I can't remember where it was. I posted about this online somewhere and someone said one of the cars, because they had the outlets and inlets at the top as opposed to typically you see them at the bottom, they had to drill a hole right at the bottom to remove the water. But I can't remember why they said it had water in there anyway. But it's odd. It's when it was on the car previously, it had no problems. It's only the fact it's been sitting for a while that it's got water in it. So yeah, bit of a bugger. Thought I'd spruce up the engine bay while the engine's out. It seems that Mazda like to spray the engine compartment when spraying the rest of the car and just overspraying into it. It's that bad, if that made sense. So I've given it a lick of paint. It's not the best job in the world, but it's a lot better than what was there. Done a bit of tidying up. So normally I had my brake lines running through these holes here, you can see, and then hooked up to the little block, the metal block. So what I've basically done is cut them here, had little connectors using a hell braided line, loops round into the ABS, which has been relocated there as well. It just makes it so much more tidier and cleaner. I've also done a bit of a wire tuck, and the wires are going under here rather than over. Just cleans it up a little bit. Just a few little more bits I've got to sort out. So the boost controller, just done a little bracket here. That's just literally going to sit there, so that should be nice and tidy out the way. Other than that, yeah, just got to wait for some bits to arrive, and can crack on, hopefully get the engine rebuilt, get it back in the car, and we can have a, will it be round 2? I suppose it'll be round 3, because I've already blown a hole in one block, but that was the standard engine, so I'm not counting that one. We'll call this round 2. A lot of people have also been asking about the BMW gearbox conversion, so I thought I'd go through the main bits. So, got the adapter plate, so that's the most important part. That allows you to connect the BMW gearbox to a Duratec engine. Bear in mind, this is taking into account the MX5 10-degree tilt of the engine, so this obviously takes that into account. Chuck that down there. This is the main setup. This is where all the power is going to be going through. So just got standard BMW pressure plate, 240mm discs. There's your middle section. There's another 240mm, and then you've got the lovely flywheel. So it's nice. It is very nice. It doesn't weigh too much. I should really get some scales and weigh it, to be fair, but for a boost application you don't want lightweight flywheels. If anything, it causes a bit of boost lag. But overall it is a lovely setup. It fits in absolutely fine. You need to obviously cut a little bit into the gearbox for the starter motor, but luckily the starter motor is bolted to the block, so there's not much involved. Some other gearboxes, they bolt to the gearbox, which causes a bit more mayhem. But overall, awesome swap. Just want to give a massive shout out to Adam AT Performance. He's the mastermind to get this conversion off the ground and work with me. A lot of people have been asking, can I buy this kit? Where can I get it? Well, yes you can. I do a partial kit on my website, www.tracktuned.uk. You'll get all the main hardware, clutch, flywheel, all the bolts and so forth, adapter plate to hook it up to a Duratec or MZR engine, with the addition of slave cylinder, master cylinder and the braided line, as well as the master cylinder adapter for the MX5 NC, which I'll show you. So we're using a Wilwood master cylinder. That's the adapter plate. We've got the single braided line. Obviously if you left hand drive, it's a much shorter one, which goes up to a E36 slave there. This seems to work perfectly well with the NC, and the pedal feel is absolutely lovely. It feels pretty much like REM, if I'm honest with you. And the bonus is you can still use the main reservoir that links up to it. So yeah, it's been a pretty eventful year for me. I will be back up and running. If there's anything I missed or you want me to cover, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and like.